sessions of the ICMCI program for IMCs. We've been getting lots of feedback from individual IMCs about what you're doing and how you're reacting in this time of crisis of COVID-19. And we thought from our perspective, it would be really good if we can create some forums like this where you can share ideas, share what it is that you're doing in your institute so that we can learn from each other and support each other, because we're all going through a difficult time. I know that because of the economic situation, our members of IMCs are in difficult situations for the most part, and certainly they're in different situations. So how is it that we react to those? I just have a couple of quick slides I wanted to share with you, just to set a little bit of perspective for what we're doing. I think this is the right screen here.
Sorry to interrupt. Should we start the recording?
Yes, please. Yes,
okay,
please.
Okay.
Support you in this work that we're going to be doing now for the coming hour. We have 1 hour scheduled. I'll do this opening remarks, and then Rima will follow up with facilitating the discussion as we move forward. It's one point I wanted to make, and I have 2 slides to make it. And the point is that we are now going through turbulent times. We are in a crisis. Most economies are suffering right now, and these are due to the COVID-19 issues. And we're all doing, as business people, as management consultants, we're business people, as IMCs, you're in charge of an organization that has accountabilities to your members. We're going through this crisis, and this is a graph from McKinsey and Company, which they call the tsunami of the COVID-19 issues. The point they make, and I think it's really important for us as world leaders in the profession of management consulting, is to bear in mind that that's just the first of many different waves that we have. As you can see on the screen, we will get through the COVID-19, again, according to McKinsey, and I believe that is true. But then we will be faced with an economic recession. There's no question that that is happening. We're seeing it in different parts of the world now, with national economies shrinking very significantly. It's unknown how long it will take to recover. We know it's not going to be a V type of a bounce back. It's going to be more of a J, but we don't know how long that J will go. There will be the return to work crisis. So as people start returning to work, there will be different ways of working. And then there's the new normal. What does the new normal look like, given that everything we're seeing in even pre-COVID-19 in terms of AI and digitalization and new ways of doing things and disruptions within particular industries. So this to me is a wake-up call for us. I don't think that we will hopefully not face disruption at as grand a scale and pandemic that is impacting all of us at the same time. But each of us in our industries, in our countries, in our economies can learn from this and figure out how we can be as resilient so we're prepared for the future and can deal with these coming waves as we move forward. So that's all I wanted to say. We're now going to open it up for discussion. I'll close the screen sharing so that we will be able to see each other and what we're doing. What I did want to point out is that we can, this was from last night. If you look on the bottom of your screen, you should see on the bottom, when I turn off the screen sharing, something that says participants. If you click on that participants, it'll open up a participant window on the right-hand screen, and that gives you a menu option for raising your hand or for making comments. And also use the chat box, which you can also see here right beside the participants, and we can have a discussion going on the side and provide links to each other and provide each other with other information as we go through this. So I'm really looking forward to this and looking forward to the discussion. So I'll turn it to you, Rima, to facilitate us as we go through this.
Thank you, Dwight. Again, I want to reiterate that I'm so happy that I'm seeing so many faces. We're here today in order to speak about our IMCs, about what we're doing in order to support our members and to make the future look brighter for everyone. It's a learning session. IMCs would learn from each other, would share information. And what we're aiming to do is two things. Number one, make sure that those videos are uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to view it. So even if there was a session that you missed, for example, the morning session, it had the perspective of other IMCs, you can listen to that and we learn from each other. Number two, we aim to include some of the best practices in our newsletter as well, and Yahona will be the one helping us in that. Thank you, Yahona. Now it's up for us to start talking, exchanging ideas and learning from each other. Should I dare say and ask who would like to start first, or should I pick up? Okay, the first on my screen is Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Unmute, please, and tell us which IMC you're from and what it is that the IMC is doing in order to support its member in such times and how to ready themselves for the after-COVID era. Please, go ahead.
Oh, hi, everyone. It is, 10 a.m. here in Jamaica, and I represent our Jamaica chapter of ICMC. I was recently awarded the CMC certification in October of last year. So we're pretty much, the Jamaica chapter is not so active. And the reason I'm joining today is because I want to find some best practice of what other CMCs are doing across the globe, so we can make our chapter a vibrant chapter. We also have a Caribbean chapter, and I think the Barbados chapter is very active. So we kind of look at them to learn so much. I really appreciate the session today, so we can learn how we can mobilize and make our chapter very fulfilling.
Dima, you're muted.
I'm muted now, I just noticed. Sorry. I was saying congratulations on the CMC, Elizabeth. Lovely to know that you gained it only a few months ago, but I know you'll do well by using it, and it's all the code of ethics and the practices in it. Thank you very much. Alfred, you're second on my screen. What would you like to tell us with your COVID look?
Years ago, I was the first on your screen. So
I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. Welcome to everybody. In Austria, we have, I think the main strategy in Austria is first that we have no very good figures because we decide nearly every day what is to do tomorrow, what have we to do next week. We have many programs, but the only point is that we look every day in the morning and in the evening, our information channel in TV, and the chancellor is telling us how we are, where to go, what to do, and everything. So many different questions are rising up now because we think it's not a very democratic way we do now, but as we are consultants, we know that a situation like this needs somebody who guides, very strict and very clever and hopefully also democratic. But now many people come up and say, is this necessary that everybody is at home and so on. So to inform everybody, we are at home still. We have now 6 weeks, I think, where we work from our home office. We start, and I put also a lot of pressure in it, that also the management consultants and the whole service of our branch can work up from 1st of May. With all security tips we have, you know, we need the mask, we need to have 1 meter between me and next person, and something like that. But up from 1st of May, we start again with the whole procedure, every day working and so on. And it is up to the people to go to the office or stay at home. And some branches, it is obligated to stay at home. In some branches, you can stay home. In some branches, you have to. So everything is really like the water in a river. We have every day new situations. For the consulting, management consultants, branch and IT, we have different programs. First, I asked the government to give to everybody, to every company for management consulting in case of Corona, 4,000 euro, so that the consultants do not get the money, it gets the company, but the consultants for sure have to work for this 4,000 euros, because we have many, really many subjects now on the table which we couldn't see before. On the other hand, we have different programs such as case of hardship for companies who do not get money. Let me say there's a program where you get 2,000 euros a month for 3 months if you have no money now. But many reasons why you don't get this 2,000 euros. I'm not sure how many people get really this 2,000 euros, because you have turnover to send, you have to say last year in this month, how much was the turnover. So as we know, consultants have project invoices. So after project, you can invoice. So maybe you have last year up from 16th of March to 16th of April, a lot of money on your account, then you get nothing now. Maybe you have nothing, then you get now something, but both is not correct. So I fight for with the government every day to change these two programs. First, this case of hardship program. On the other hand, this 2,000 euros a day, because many people are frustrated, you know. We started with a high level and now we come down to not such a high level, and not many people get the money. On the other hand, leadership in this crisis is a very important thing, and whole Austria, all the people say, well, we accept it, but we check it, you know. You cannot do everything with us, we do it, but we check if you stay correct and if you go a correct democratic way. It's a very, very big question. We have many webinars, for example, we have many platforms now helping each other, saying we consult you, but this is, I think this is just for the nerves, but nothing essential. I think the main focus will be on restructuring of companies. Many people have had to left. Many people have a new agreement, such as a short agreement. So for next 3 months, they can stay 90% out of the office and they will be paid with nearly 90% of her last income. But this is a very good point, in fact, which helps the companies. And we help the companies to fill in all these formula and administrative things, which are too much, in our opinion.
So from your end, Alfred, what you're trying to do is help with the advocacy with the government in order to support with regulations that have to do with management consulting and the WKO members?
We have nearly 400,000 WO members. Mm-hmm. We try to help them.
Okay.
But this, you know, the companies have no money. We have 99% one-person companies in Austria. 99%. So I cannot ask a one-person company for a big honorary, you know. So for me, it's not that big deal if you help them. I have many calls every day since 6 weeks. They cannot send an invoice after. And every call needs 20 minutes, 40 minutes, starting with the words, I just have one question. How fill in this, you know? And then you give a whole restructuring program in this 40 minutes. So for consultants, it is not the time to make money.
But maybe after would be the time to make money?
After it will be the time to make money for restructuring, for sure. It's not the time to make money for trainings. Trainings are totally out now. And after, you know, the special trainings like how people feel good, you cannot make money with all this kind of trainings. You can make money with trainings, maybe with management, with the management, how to work with how to deal with the crisis, you know, and how to find now change and risks, to not to go back to risk and so on. So restructuring and all kind of restructuring and strategy will be a good deal next time. All the other things is not such a good deal for management consultants.
Let's hope that many would understand the opportunity that would be coming after, and maybe better prepare themselves in order to support the many small to medium companies who would actually need lots of support after this. Thank you, Alfred. Thanks a million. Nader, you come next, and maybe you can tell us what it is that's being done at IMC Jordan, how you're supporting the members in going through those hard times. Nader, the mic is over to you. Unmute yourself first, please. Don't do my mistake.
Yes. Good afternoon to everybody. Well, I think the situation is not different for most of us. We are living nearly the same situation. Is my voice clear? Is it clear?
It is. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
So, in fact, just before we were locked down in Jordan, we were planning for several workshops, especially with the CMC certification program, but unfortunately it was, let us say, postponed till this event is hopefully will pass over. And we were planning, in fact, a lot of efforts with the ministries, with the public sector, even with some organization here to start, to keep promoting and helping the consultant local here in Jordan. But unfortunately, all these things just stopped by this. But now we are planning, we are working, in fact, with some virtual issues, with some with the consultants, some firms that they are working and offering some virtual training. But it's not really working as we wish, in fact. But hopefully things will be better. Well, I cannot tell more than this. Financially issues, we are doing fine. We managed to collect all the fees before the lockdown, so we are financially we are doing fine. Other issues, well, I cannot add many points on this issue.
The important part is that you are trying to support the members, and maybe most of the time, like Alfred said, what we need is a listening ear. Maybe it's all about emotional interacting now and supporting each other, but at the same time, lots of readiness needs to take place. Daniel, give us your perspective, my dear. And I love the view behind you. You need to unmute Daniel. Yes.
Hello, everyone. This is Daniel from Hong Kong. As you know, actually, Hong Kong is the southern end of the mainland China, and we are the first being impacted by the COVID-19. Actually, we have been through more than 3.5 months. Life in Hong Kong is quite normal. We don't have lockdown, but we have practicing some social distancing measure imposed by the government. So the restaurant have to have some limitation, and then cinema, all the gym have been closed. And most of the people in Hong Kong work from home, including my organization. Actually, I'm working in the Hong Kong Jockey Club, but yeah, as you know, Jockey Club is running a racing. So the racing still go on twice a week. We managed to have some turnover, and it's not bad. But on the other arm, on the football betting, as you know, most of the football matches around the world have been cancelled. So we lost a lot of turnover from the football betting stream. But nevertheless, I think in terms of the Hong Kong, in the last 11 days, we have only single-digit confirmed cases, and it seems quite stable. So everyone is looking for going back to work, maybe after 14 days. So if everything is go, I think Hong Kong will be open and people will return to work. In terms of the IMC Hong Kong, actually, we keep communicating with our members, and even our council meeting still go on via the Zoom meeting. So we are all connected. But one thing is that actually in our plan, we try to organize a big training for all our members in the first quarter. But as you know, we have social distancing measure. We don't have more than people we don't allow to have a gathering of more than 4 people. That means that we cannot hold in-person training courses. But we managed to join forces with other professional bodies, and we are organizing virtual training for new members. So I think that in terms of income stream, we hope we can make some income arising from all these online courses. And surprisingly, we have some walk-in professional coming to us requesting to become CMC. I think during these difficult times, I think that most of the people stay at home, got nothing to do. Maybe for the positive people, they want to be better equipped in this time. That's why they come to us and want to be certified as CMC. So we just got one application today. So I think more will be coming. So I think IMC Hong Kong will further promote our brand in Hong Kong to attract all these professionals. I think everyone is looking for opportunities after we go back to normal. And yeah, that's it.
Which is great. So the CMC is a good way to start a consultant in preparing for the after COVID. I like that sentence, everyone. Please start using it. Thank you, Daniel. Babak, what would you like to share with us? And you have 2 things to do. You have to unmute and you have to start your camera, my dear.
Hello, everyone. I'm Babak Azay from Iran, and I'm just listening because the crisis in Iran is very serious. I'm just waiting for the new idea from discussion only, and at the present I'm listening for other guys.
We're happy to have you with us, Babak, and I hope this turns into some sort of learning experience for you. This is the aim of having this session. So you're welcome to be with us. Anything specific you'd like to share with everyone?
At the present, I'm listening.
Okay. Listen and please do contribute when you feel you need to. I have 2 hands waving at me, Elizabeth and Tamara. Is it okay if I ask Elizabeth to go first and tell us what's on your mind, my dear? You have a raised arm. Please go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I was just sharing that the first speaker was speaking about training, and that training is almost non-existent during this COVID period. But what I do see is a lot of consultants doing to keep themselves relevant and also to ensure they maintain that presence is that they offer a lot of online training, for example, in leadership and also on overcoming obstacles. And these are free on Zoom. And I realized that they're very effective in terms of 1, maintaining that presence in the industry, and also 2, in also helping their members and prospective members, because I do agree that after COVID, there will be a demand for consultants as the new norms, and also to help them to restructure in terms of these new changes that will come as a result of post-COVID reconstruction.
So ICMCI are offering such courses and they are free to their members.
Great.
Good. So that is another thing also to learn. Tamara, you had raised your hand before, and please go ahead.
So I'm here representing the Global Institute of CMCs, and for us, we've been a virtual organization for a long time, so I have to say that working from home and going digital has been part of our DNA. But that meant that we had already established our processes and certification and professional development early on to deliver them virtually, which turned out to be good for us. It was our only possibility, obviously. But what I wanted to say is 2 things. One is that we have a lot of assets that are digital that we can share with you and your members. We can support with the digital or the virtual processes that we have for certification and things like that. And one thing I believe that's very important is that consulting will become, like Elizabeth said, very important in the coming months. But this is going to be our new normal for quite some time. And I believe we should focus on training our consultants, our members, on how to adapt to this and how to make themselves more relevant. So I think this is where our focus should be in the coming period.
Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, I noticed. I was saying thank you. So what you're saying is that you have resources that could assist other IMCs, and they should just contact you if they feel that they have an opportunity with support from GI, right? Absolutely. So everyone, there is an opportunity with GI for you to benefit your members. Do something about it. Okay, anyone else who'd like to share anything before I go back to, okay, Konstantinos, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. You all know that it's peaking. The pandemic is peaking in the United States. This has changed that we've been monitoring very closely. Apart from our board, we also have the EXCOM, our executive committee, and on almost a daily basis, we've been monitoring the situation. We first started out with opening up our chat rooms. These are virtual chat rooms held on Friday, where consultants come together and discuss about their issues and challenges that they face. And we've opened almost all our offerings, not only to our members for free, but also to non-members and people who have actually showed, the professionals who have showed interest for our services back a few years ago, even lately. So we also instigated town hall meetings, and we had the opportunity to have Dwight there present, and he also contributed. So what we're actually using is a participative model so that each and every consultant can pose a view. We put on the table various themes, how to help ourselves, how to help our clients, and through the chat rooms, through C2M Live, which these are events held on a monthly basis, once every month. We also came up with the town hall meetings. These will be held on a weekly basis, as long as this holds up. And this gives an opportunity, and we have an open invitation to everybody from around the world to join us and just give us their insights, pose their issues, and so we can collaborate. We feel at IMC USA that it's a great opportunity, despite the challenges. It's a great opportunity for all of us to open up our windows and our doors to professionals to become certified and to become management consultants. This is a prime time. Yes.
May I ask
this
you
is a prime time. It's an opportunity to involve people who are at the outskirts and bring them in.
You've offered for all our IMCs the opportunity to attend. So may I ask you to send us exactly where they could find the details, the links, and maybe we'll include them as an update in our upcoming newsletter. And that way people would have access as to where to go and find information in order to participate and attend in your events, if that's okay with you.
I also, yes, of course, I will do. I also posted on Facebook, and if you're on, for those who are on the CMC Global Facebook group, you'll see our postings on the events, upcoming events for IMC USA. And I'm glad to have with us John Tracy. He's a board member as well, and Mary Beth, who is from our Chicago chapter. One last thing I'd like to tell you is that because of the situation, most, if not all, of our chapters have gone virtual. We were operating our chapters on a hybrid model, most of them, both on a real face-to-face events and meetings, as well as virtual events. But now, during these circumstances, everything has gone virtual for the time being. And there's a lot of communication, a lot of collaboration, and there's a sense of camaraderie and solidarity. That's what we need.
It's the time to come together and unite. Yes, it's all about humanity now. It's all about support. It's all standing as one. And Mary, I just noticed that you put in the dates and the link on the chat. Anyone interested to know more about the events, please do go to the chat on this call, and you will find the details. I can see that others also have their hands up. Norma, what would you like to share with us, my dear?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rima.
Good
From
morning.
beautiful Barbados, I'm looking out at the palm trees in my backyard, and just really appreciate the opportunity to connect with colleagues around the world. We in Barbados, the chapter has been having our weekly meetings, just as other chapters and other organizations. We have been having weekly meetings, not weekly, or monthly meetings virtually, and have got a good response. I think that we are very aware that there are so many webinars that are taking place, put on by many different organizations, that we did not want to put on too many other activities, but certainly just share the information about what is happening and what other people are doing at different levels. And I think that one of the key things, the last person from the IMC USA, I think that activity of building the solidarity, keeping the linkages, keeping the dialogue open is really very important in terms of our network. But it's also important for people to reach out to their colleagues and to their clients. And I would say that one of the things that some of our consultants have found is that at this time, if they can deliver training and interaction digitally, some of the clients are actually open to that. So for instance, I'm planning a webinar. Obviously, it's not a full day webinar, so it's going to be in two bits, two segments. But planning webinars with my clients so that they can move forward on some of the things that had already been planned. And I think another strategy that some of our consultants are using, as around the world, and the person from Hong Kong spoke about this, giving free webinars to your clients continues to lay the groundwork and the foundation and keep the relationships going so that at a future time we can come back. But one of the questions that I had in my mind, when are we going to come back to a time where we're going to be able to have face-to-face training if we're keeping the social distance? And I was thinking about that the other day. And I'd be very interested in hearing from some of our colleagues at what, we don't know exactly when, but will we really, within the very near future, be coming back together for face-to-face meetings with a whole number of people in the room and keeping our social distance? And I'd be very interested to hear some of the colleagues on that matter.
Thank you for that question. It is something that's on the minds of everyone, I believe. I'm going to start with an answer, and then maybe we'll ask Giuseppe to also contribute. He's had his hand up for a while, and maybe he can address that question. I believe life will go back to some sort of normal, but not full normal at one point. If there's a vaccine, then maybe. If there isn't, then social distancing is something that we need to consider our new norm. Time will tell. It's not something that we can kind of answer to, even if we think more about it. You get to the conclusion that actually there's no answer now until all the medical companies come up and tell us, yes, there is a vaccine or not. But for ICMCI, for example, we've been talking about all the hub meetings and the annual conference and all the events where we used to meet face to face. And actually, it brought a very sad note to our discussion, the fact that we may not be able to see each other face to face for a while now. I hope someone has a better view on it. Giuseppe, would you like to answer to that and maybe tell us what's on your mind? Giuseppe is in Italy, and we know what Italy went through, and God bless you, Giuseppe, and all our colleagues there. Please tell us what you think, and maybe you can give more insight to Norma's question.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm pleased to meet with you in this conference. Yes, in Italy, as you know, Italy was really touched by the coronavirus. Today we are at 25,000 of deaths. Anyway, I hope the spike is gone, and maybe on the 4th of May we enter into phase 2, where some freedom will interest companies, individuals, and so on. Anyway, of course, it's not an easy period. Anyway, our national association with the President Cesare Pazzini is continuously in contact with our members, and also with the free webinars, for example, about the ISO 20700 for the members, just to be close to each other, and also to highlight also to the government the issue of the cash, of course, because cash is an issue. In this moment, you know, the European Commission, the European countries are discussing this point just now. About the actions that we in Italy as consultants, we are moving. There are a lot of free webinars in the marketplace today. Very, very free webinars. Of course, we need to understand, to see what are real value-added webinars. But anyway, of course, I agree with the approach to be close with the customers, because we encourage to be close with the customers with remote training, free webinars, face-to-face meetings, because we are sure that in the second phase, the customers that will have this contact, this human contact, will recognize our effort.
And I wish you all the best and all the good luck. And yes, I keep thinking back to the note about keeping up with the clients and making sure that we offer them something so that when they're back, they actually come to us and not to anyone else. That is a beautiful idea, and I appreciate sharing it. John, Tracy, you have your hand up, and it's time for you to tell us something, dear.
Thank you, Rima. Yes. Two thoughts come to mind. First, I'd like to amplify what Kostas has already brought up. I think it might be easier for some people just to simply go to the IMCUSA.org website. And I do believe that on the front page is a listing of the town hall, Kostas. I think that might make it easy for some people to check in if they would like to join that. Second, I think we're really in for some profound changes. I'm in the current hotbed, Giuseppe. New York City is the area, and we're 45 minutes out of town. So we're pretty much there. It's hit hard in this area. I personally have lost several friends already, and expect to lose a few more, I'm sure, over the next several months. We're hunkered down pretty well, fortunately, being 45 minutes away. We live with the wildlife and the lakes and the forest, so it's kind of nice, and we're not really having to commingle a whole lot. I did attend a program this morning, though, that I thought was really very, very helpful for those of us who are in the consulting world. And it brought up a new term for me, and I'd like to share that, and I think it might be good for some of us. The term was creative destruction. And I thought that the use of the word destruction was a good point here, because we're seeing our clients and some whole industries in the moment getting destroyed, just gone. And one of the speakers this morning was talking about the movie industry and how 100 years ago, when movies first came out, or maybe a little longer than that, they were all done in very, very small locations, a lot of home-produced stuff, etc. And people were quite happy with it. Well, all of a sudden, if you close the movie houses down, there's no place for anybody to go. And if there's nowhere to go, there's no place to make movies for, and there's no way to distribute them, and there's nobody to buy them, and there's nobody to, etc. And from this actually evolved a strengthening because of the finance into what we now know is the entire movie industry, which is the making of sound movies, because one needed to get a better way to attract people. And then one needed to have a little more blockbusters. And so that started to happen. And this all evolved in a relatively short period of time, as soon as people were able to get together. And the person who was speaking of this clearly referred to it as creative destruction. And I think that's a good way to look at it. My field is supply chains, and I am certain that that is going to change so much that there will be entire industries that will no longer exist 5 years from now, maybe not even at the end of this year. I do believe that there's going to be some major changes in the way things operate. I do believe that the supply chains, the world supply chains, are going to change dramatically. And for anybody who's involved in that world, it's either an exciting time or a scary time. I think it's probably more scary at the moment. The other thing, just to make a comment on, anybody who's involved in operations today, all operations have got to change. We've got to come up with new ways to keep people able to distance themselves in things like livestock processing, food processing of various sorts. People have got to, we've got to come up with better ways to organize the workplace and the work positions and the procedures we use. These were all calculated on an efficient system over the years. Just-in-time supply systems, for example, insist on the idea that there is no inventory. And if there is no inventory, that is exactly the wrong thing to have in a pandemic. So here we are with absolute opposite forces pulling on each other. And we're the people who should be able to figure that out. Between a combination of our education and experience, I think it's a marvelous time there. Technology, the kind of thing we're using right now, is going to go a long way. I was talking with a colleague the other day and said, well, how do you redesign a workplace? Well, we've got the tools today. We're looking at them. You simply put drawings up and you start to move other pieces of information back and forth via the internet, and we can do all kinds of things. So I think there's fantastic opportunities out there for people who are willing to get into total disruption. I think there's wonderful opportunities out there for people who have to redesign workplaces and redesign procedures and processes to work. I'm not in the finance world, and I'm sure there's lots of opportunities there. I don't want to get off of what I don't know. So there's a whole lot of opportunity. I think it's a matter of exploring, and I think it's sometimes a matter of listening to what other people had to say. Had I not tuned in on this program this morning before I joined you all, excuse me, I would have never heard about creative destruction.
But what I hear from you is that our role is to turn it from being destruction back into being disruption, right? Because we have to stay creative all through.
That's creative, exactly right, Rima. I mean, the whole idea of destroying something is sometimes we don't want to do this because we're too comfortable. But when we go back and recognize what's really going on around us, it's obsolete. And it's been obsolete for a long period of time, but there's been no reason to shake the box. So if you don't shake the box, nothing happens. Well, right now we've got no choices. In some places, the box has been shaken for us.
Correct. Correct. It's better than being in a status quo type of state, because we have to move on and we have to be the ones that continue to be creative. Thank you, John. Mr. Eisenfeld, you have your hand up and it's been a long time since I heard from you. Please go ahead. The mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Listen, the SMB sector in Israel includes 600,000 businesses. Half of them is one-person business. There is 3,000 one-person business. And the 300,000 businesses employ 2 million workers. That is 44% for the workers in Israel. These 44% produce 50% of the GDP of Israel. Gross domestic product. Even though the over regulation is very over regulation, is something in the world record in the regulation. There is too many taxes. You know, taxes that is like sometimes 60%. Is I don't know how we can work without our export. Our export is save us. Now, the decision makers of Israel in react to the COVID-19, I think they was in panic because all the steps make the situation instead of to improve it, it was worst. So now I believe that but now I believe that they understand what happened and they try to do something else. But now the question is, how can the consultant can help the business? There is a problem of a lot of sectors closed totally. So we can help them till they will open in the government permission. So they are in a very big problem. And the other ones that try to change their way of thinking, but their way of working. This is include especially the food workers, because the food, almost the food industry, not industry, the food services, food restaurants, was almost total closed. So what they did, they try to make their food, to bring their food, what they produce, to the families, to the houses.
And delivery. But what you're saying is correct, because all the tourism sector would be affected. All the services such like restaurants and what have you is big time affected. Consultants working for those sectors are affected at the moment. But Mr. Eisenfeld, look at the opportunity for after, when those want to come back. The ones that can come back will be coming back, and they will need lots of support. And I believe that's where the consultants come in, right?
No.
No? Okay,
No.
you tell us why not. Tell me.
To do it again, the business need money. Now the money is going away.
But businesses who've been there for a long time, I believe, can survive a 6-month loss. I mean,
well, 3 months
people would need to kind of maintain at least in order to come back, even if they do not come back strong in the beginning, but they will be coming back. Businesses that are big and have been there for a while, no?
Yes. There is sectors like food industries and food industrial in Israel, food industrial and some other sectors are in good shape. Part of them in better shape. There is no any problem with them.
So what is the IMC doing in order to support them at this time? Your consultants, the members of your institute that are consultants, what are you doing as an institute to support them?
Listen, what we are say always is every business, each business needs a consultant. This is our slogan. But it costs money. Not every owner, not each owner knows that this costs money. they expect that we work for nothing. Of course,
correct. But remember what Norma was saying? She was telling us that maybe it's now time to offer some freebies, if I may call it that, to our clients in order to make sure that we support them, for them to continue being there, and maybe for them to choose us when they're back strong and willing to continue. So it's all about what it is that we're willing to offer now versus what was the norm. The normal was for a consultant to offer the services for money. Now the normal may not be that. The normal may be to actually become very good friends and become the trusted partner of your client in order for you to maintain your status now and grow it in the future. Maybe that's where we need to start changing what we think. And I want to bring to this conversation Zainab or Ismail. Hello, IMC Turkey. Who of you would like to share some insights with us? Because we're coming close to ending. We have 7 minutes, and I would like to hear from you and hear from Zakir as well after that. And then I will ask Yehona to tell us more about all the ICMCI websites and social media links. So please, Zainab, go ahead.
Yes, hello everybody. It's very nice to see you all on the screen and hear about your experiences. I'd like to share what we've been doing at YDD, our IMC in Turkey. Our regular board meetings are continuing online, and we have a lot of webinars, ongoing webinars. We've programmed we've performed 2 webinars up until now, and we're going to have them every week on Wednesdays. They're about doing business, how to manage clients. We had an ISO 2700 webinar just yesterday. We're trying to convert all our trainings. We have a lot of training programs. We're trying to convert all our trainings to an online version with short episodes, like 1-hour training programs. We're also working to enrich our YouTube channel by putting some 2-3 minutes trainings, advices for consultants. We're also planning to do a webinar on ISO 700's training program, where we'll have, I think it's going to be a paid one. We're just working on it yet, but it's going to be a paid one, and we're trying to get our consultants to become more involved with both CMC process and the ISO 2700 standard. We're working on leadership during crisis webinars. We have one scheduled for next week on sustainability. And we're also having a webinar on psychological impacts of staying at home. Right now in Turkey, we have about 100,000 cases of the COVID virus, and there have been about 2,500 deaths until today. I had the virus, and so did my husband. I just survived. Unfortunately, my husband passed away about 2 weeks ago. So it is a very difficult time for all the consultants in Turkey, because as some colleagues said, most of our consultants at YDD are one-person companies. So we're trying to help them just keep up their business. unfortunately, it doesn't look too good at the moment because the economy is just going down. And what we're going to do, what we're trying to do is not to lose our members, actually. So we're just trying to keep the morale up because at the moment it's not possible to provide them with job opportunities or anything new. But we're trying to keep the morale up as well as help them develop new capabilities.
Thank you, Zainab. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing. Thank God you're back with us. And I'm so sorry for your loss. It is hard when it hits close to home, and actually you just made it hit close home. I'm truly sorry about your loss, my dear. And remember, you have all this big international family. Whenever you need support, you just call on any of us, okay?
Thank you.
God bless you, my dear.
I'd just like to add that I've realized that while staying at home, these online meetings, whether they're relevant with the work we do or whether they're just something else, something like a hobby, they're very helpful in keeping up the good spirits and the morale high. And so I've been trying to attend all the webinars I can find online that interest me, because it's always nice to talk with people. I'm alone at home right now, so it's always nice to talk with people and to chat. And even if I don't talk, it's wonderful to have listened to conversations. So I thank you all for the opportunity as well.
I'm always on Skype. Call whenever you want. Okay, and those sessions are going to be weekly, Zainab. So you're gonna have your hands full, listening to us and then sharing with us and being there with us. Okay.
Thank you.
We're almost close to the time. So Zakir, would you like to share with us what IMC Bangladesh are doing? I'm not really sure, unless it's okay with everyone if we stay on for like 5 more minutes, because I have people with hands up wanting to share with us, and yet I'm trying to also have all the IMCs with us also share. So if you may go ahead, Zakir, and maybe after that, Minasha, you can tell us what you want to share with us, and then Paul as well. Thank you, Paul, for joining us, and then Yehona would close. So please, go ahead, Zakir.
Yeah, thank you, Rima. This is Zakir from Bangladesh.
And remember, Zakir, we're almost out of time, so let's make it quick. Okay.
Yeah. It was really sorry to hear our colleagues, partners passed away. So, the day we started having lockdown last week of last month, actually, we started thinking among the executive committee that we should have some kind of a meeting over Skype. So we had already 4 rounds of discussion, and we have come up with some very practical issues. Like we thought about our members, our corporate members, individual members. So we drafted a policy that we are going to submit to the government. It's kind of a program to support the consultants and the consulting firms, and we have a very concrete proposals. Like Alfred said, in Bangladesh we consider 2,500 per month for individual expert for 6 months, and for firms we have also proposed $12,000 per month. So we are asking for 6 months support from the government. And then on the other hand, we are also offering to the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Commerce, because the government has already taken a number of bailout program for SMEs, for our biggest industry, which is apparel industry. So we are also trying to offer the government how to implement those bailout programs in a way so the purpose of the program is very effective. Because we have this capacity problem with the governments. So I have already in touch with the government officials, both the ministry, and I'm trying to pursue to involve our members so that it will have 2 sides of impact. One is that our members will get some definite task, and on the other hand, the government will be very, very benefited because government is lacking this capacity. So since the time is very short, I don't want to continue further. Well, our normal activities, actually, frankly speaking, we are actually under huge panic because last two weeks we have, very like situation is getting worse because on 16th we had only 60 people died, and yesterday we had 120 people died. So the number is jumping, So, and our government already, and extended the lockdown period for like first week of next month. Well, the last thing that I like to say, and I like to conclude here, like our colleagues have already discussed about restructuring companies, also, new service development, also supporting companies how to survive. So I like to share one idea. Can we come up with a very robust model of assessment and restructuring companies? And if it is well thought by our landed members, and if ICMCI can really promote this model, it can be applicable to any SMEs across the world. So then it can be a really good product from ICMCI, and we can apply in our individual situation. And this can be a good support for the SMEs who will be struggling in next 6 months to 1 year. So with this, I like to conclude here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, Zakir. And I believe Dwight was nodding and taking some notes, and we will have this recording as well as all the notes in the chat. I can see, Olivia, that you already asked a question in there, and Giuseppe, you had a note. We will compile all those notes and answer to you. I don't think we have the time now. We're already like 2 minutes past the time. I just need to close. So I'm truly sorry. I had promised Dr. Minashe to speak, and I had promised Paul to speak. But you know what, you guys, we have more sessions coming. It is on weekly basis now. Next week, next Thursday, we would have 2 more sessions. We'll be talking about other things, but we will be able to hear you as well. Please just join us, be there with us. Let's grow our community stronger. We would love to hear from you. And I would like to ask Yehona. Yehona, you're still with us, right? For you to tell everyone more about the social media of ICMCI, the social media accounts, and how they can benefit from them and learn more about what's happening with us. Please go ahead.
Yes, Rima, thank you very much. I had a lot to share with our colleagues, that what we as an association, what we are doing for our members, but I will gladly share with all of you by email what we are doing as a consultant to private sector. As a ICMCI promotion, we have successfully opened all and activated all social media accounts, and I shared with you on a chat. So please follow us. Everybody is, perhaps they saw it, all the social media. And we have a newsletter to improve the communication with our members. So communicating on a regular basis with IMCs to understand new practices, get insights, success stories, or what we are doing in this difficult times in the crisis. So please do share and follow us, because we are sharing everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Yehona. And just like Yehona said, this session, as well as the morning session that took place and most of you also missed, you will be able to listen to that, listen to this one. And again, we're going to compile some sort of good ideas that we heard during the discussions and include them in the newsletter. Okay, everyone?
Yes. And Rima, I would like to take a picture with all of us in here, and in order to promote this webinar and everything.
Please do that. Everyone, if you may put on your camera, right? That's what you wanted, Yehona?
Yes, please.
Cameras on, please, with a smile on the face. And let's all look like the happy community we are, standing by each other and working for our profession.
Okay, just one more, because we have chat coming up. One more, if I have everybody. Thank you. I think I got everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
You do that? How do you get a picture on Zoom?
You
What's
can
the trick?
have. It's not a trick. It's pretty easy. You see the list of participants. Right now we are 34, up to 47 people could fit in one picture. So it's pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
But I can easily show you and send you on a trial or something. So
see, another learning process amongst us.
That's great.
Okay, great, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And Dwight, for you to close, please.
But just very briefly, thank you all. This is wonderful. Thank you for this excellent participation, and I'm looking forward to the continuation of the series and being able to share more information. We've got a lot out of this, lots of notes, lots of things to share. So thank you for being so open with your information and for participating today. Thank you.
I was hoping you might recognize somebody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy with it?